See it already, I can see it already. Don't you hear me? What the fuck? Yo, what up, how you doing, guys? My name is Sangiev. Today we are back with another video, and as you can see from the title, today we've got a bit more of a discussion-led video. Now, if you've been on the internet, you would have seen plenty of articles along the lines, or along the headlines of the best of the decade. This video idea was sort of somewhat inspired by that, and also this conversation that I had with my boy whilst we were out for drinks. And yes, we do talk about fashion, and we're literally like, yo, what are some of the best fashion collaborations that has happened recently? I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite fashion collaborations that have happened in the last decade. Now, obviously, this is a very opinion-led piece, so there might be some disagreement. And, you know, that's fantastic. Let's have a conversation. If there's any that I missed, or if there's any that you disagree with, then please let me know in the comment section down below in a respectful manner. I don't want to hear shit like, well, you can say whatever you want, I don't care. With that being said, let's start off with collaboration numero 5. I am going to be referring back to my phone every now and again just because I've jotted things down. Otherwise, I'm just going to be rambling on for far too long. And number 5, this is actually one of the most recent ones. This collaboration, or this movement, spurred in 2018, and that was the Moncler Genius line. Now, if anybody's unaware of it, 8 different projects define the unity of Moncler Genius. Unity comes from focus, as interpretations of the Moncler ethos stems from the product. Each project has a classic Moncler down jacket as the main playground, stand on its own, and all of them unanimously converging on the items. Basically, Moncler approaches 8 designers on a yearly, is it yearly or seasonal? One or the other. I'm pretty sure it's yearly. On a yearly basis to create these beautiful garments. Now, mine in particular, my favorite collaboration out of the lot is collaboration numero 5, which is to dress as a habitat, and the designer that they've chosen for number 5 is always Craig Green. Man, some of these pieces are just incredible. Super theatrical, avant-garde. Are they wearable? I mean, I personally don't see myself in a lot of the pieces. However, some of them are just absolutely incredible. Yes, this is a more recent collaboration, and to be fair, in comparison to the others, this is very much a low-key collaboration, but I think it needs more light on it. And so Moncler Craig Green takes my spot at number 5. And then we're moving on to number 4, and we're going to rewind the clock back to 2012 when H&M announced their collaboration with Margiela. Now, this one has a special place in my heart just because this was the first time that I had ever spent, or this was the most I had ever spent on one piece of clothing. I had the inside out shearling jacket, which retailed for £200, and I still remember thinking, my God, like, how are you even considering spending that much on one piece? But man, this collaboration's insane, and to be fair, the whole of what H&M have done with various designers has just been incredible. Now, to me personally, the H&M Margiela was the peak. Now, some might say that the H&M Versace was bigger, more hyped, and I might have to agree. But from a personal standpoint, I went and copped a few things from H&M Margiela. And you know, as someone that didn't spend a lot of money on clothes back then, this was my first sort of step into what you'd call designer or high-end clothing. Definitely gave me a taste for it. And now, like I've said, here we are. Coming in at number 3, we have a collaboration that's going to divide the masses. And that's going to be the Louis Vuitton Supreme collaboration that took place in fall/winter 2017. I mean, come on, let's be honest. This was definitely a moment marked in fashion history, if you wish, be it on the streetwear end of things, on the high-end end of things. It's still crazy when you actually think of how far streetwear had to come and how far fashion had to come in order to meet at this very moment. Now, I'm not much of a streetwear head, but I know little things here and there, and I know that back in the day, Supreme did their own take, or their illegal take, on a Louis Vuitton collaboration, which actually got hit with a cease and desist. So to go from there to then actually having the opportunity to collaborate with one of the most prominent fashion houses in the world, and dare I say one of the most recognizable too, must have been an absolutely insane feeling. Personally, it's not entirely my cup of tea. Like, there's some pieces that I still think are absolutely incredible, and I definitely would love to get my hands on. In fact, the banana pouch, or whatever you want to call it, the one that actually says Supreme plastered across it, I still think it's such a fire piece that I would love to get my hands on it. But resale values is just absolutely insane. Shout out to the boy Kim Jones for doing that prior to leaving for Dior, and yeah man, job, very, very, very well done, if I may say so myself. Which brings us to number 2, and you can't have a conversation about fashion in the 2010 to 2020 decade without mentioning this man's name, and that is Kanye West's joint venture with Adidas. I don't know how people want to pronounce it, but in 2015 they released their first sort of collection. Once again, much like the others, this has definitely marked a moment in fashion history. Kanye West has been metaphorically knocking on fashion's door, and this was his first sort of foray into it where he had full, well, at least the most creative power up until that point. Obviously the Nike collaboration took place, they did incredible. The Louis Vuitton collaboration took place with the shoes. Again, that was in 2009, so just before this decade. But the ones in Adidas, which has obviously then stemmed the countless amount of shoes, the products, the clothes, the vision, the trends that have come from it, even the models that he used during that show that have then gone on to become huge things in their own rights. You've got to give it up to the boy Kanye for doing so. I look back to that collection, and once again, not everything's going to be my cup of tea, but it was a defining moment for streetwear and fashion, and so hats off to Mr. Kanye West and the people over at Adidas for allowing that to happen. And you know, here they are now, $1 billion company, hence why they've got my second spot in my list. Now, prior to me moving to my number 1, I want to pose a question to you, because these next 2 collaborations I was heavily debating on including, but then I couldn't differentiate which one was better. So I want to ask you the question, which one do you think was a better collaboration between Raf Simons and Adidas and Rick Owens and Adidas? Interestingly enough, they both started near enough around the same time. I think Raf was introduced in 2013, Rick Owens was introduced in 2014, and to my knowledge both of them have now stopped, so there is no more of a collaboration between said brands. But which one do you think had more of an impact, was a better collaboration? And yeah, that is my question to you. Raf Simons Adidas, Rick Owens Adidas. Please let me know in the comment section down below, and hopefully we can have a conversation. We're going to move on to honourable mentions. I'm going to whiz through them very quickly. First up, we have Raf Simons and Sterling Ruby back in 2014. Then we have Prada and Christoph Schumer back in 2016. Then we have Tom Sachs and Nike. Do I need to say anything else? These shoes were insanely hyped. Then we have Jordan Union LA and also Jordan Travis Scott's. Both of them absolutely incredible pair of shoes. And then last but certainly not the least, to wrap up the honourable mention section, we have Gucci and Dapper Dan, which brings us to numero 1, number 1 of the collaborative effort of this decade, and in my opinion, and I thought hard about this, the best collaborative effort in fashion from 2010 to 2020, and that is, I feel like I'm gonna get flamed for this, Virgil Abloh and Nike with his The 10 collection. The fact that he was given 10 silhouettes, he didn't do anything crazy new, you know what I mean? He didn't reinvent the silhouette, he didn't bring his own silhouette. He was given 10 shoes, he put his own unique twist to it, and it just absolutely took off like wildfire. I want to say that near enough everyone will find at least one pair of shoe that they can relate to. Even myself, as someone that's very much a boots kind of guy, I prefer my sort of smart shoes over my trainers and sneakers. I fell in love with some of the shoes. I had, and I still have, the Jordans, the Prestos, I hate the 97s, and I had a couple of others that I then ended up selling, but these are just absolutely incredible, man. I think just as a product, it's beautiful. Then there was the hype that was surrounding them, the way that the initial 10 were released, and then all the other colors that have dropped since, and the other collaborations, for example, like Serena Williams getting her own colorway, and Darida. Virgil, man. You know what? I won't go as far to say, no, I actually am low-key a fan of his hustling mentality. I love that. I think he's a beast. Creatively and commercially, Off-White might not be my cup of tea, but what Virgil Abloh did with Nike, in my opinion, gets the #1 spot for best fashion collaboration of this decade. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to wrap up this video. If you want to fight me on my opinions, then please do so respectfully in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your thought, and hopefully we can have it back and forth. If you wish to follow me on my social media, it's all right here, Sangiev. Hopefully I do intend to make this like a mini series with a couple of different topics, and the ones that I have in my head are trends, so the best sort of trends of the decade. I don't know if I'm well versed enough to say the best collection, but I'd love to talk about designers, where they've ended up, and who fits the role the best. And in fact, there is one person that I'd love to talk to this about, and hopefully we can get a video out of it as well, so that would be quite cool. But if there is any other topic that you wish to see me discuss about the best of the decade, please let me know in the comment section down below. Oh yeah, quick disclaimer, I did initially think of doing a best and a worst of this decade, but then I thought, why put out so much negativity out talking about the worst pieces? I'm sure they feel awful creating them anyway, so they don't need me to then go ahead and talk about it. So I figured, let's focus on the positivity. And yeah man, I know that if I said the worst trends or the worst of this decade, we could have a more controversial video, therefore have more clicks. But let's try and be positive, and let's actually give props where it's due. At least that's my thought process with it. Yes, the hair looks different. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm just experimenting, trying out, seeing what works, just having fun with it. Wait, hold up, there you go, let's get this strand there. I mean, it's in a beanie right now, but it's whatever. Yay. And that is it from me. Have a beautiful day, take care. Peace.